Hello students, today we are covering 4.4, solving two-step inequalities. So follow along with me on page 148 in your textbook. We're going to start with example 1, solving two-step inequalities on page 148. A is solve 5x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 11, and then graph the solution. So to solve an inequality, it is just like solving a two-step equation, except for the fact that we have an inequality symbol instead of an equal sign. So the first thing I need to do is I need to start to isolate the variable 5x. Right now it's being subtracted by 4, so I'm going to first add 4 to both sides of the inequality. And I can bring down 5x is greater than or equal to 15. Now to isolate my variable x, I need to divide both sides by positive 5. Remember, if you multiply or divide by a positive, the symbol stays the same. So now I have x must be greater than or equal to 3. So now I'm going to graph it on my number line. Let's say this is 0. Here's 1, 2, and 3. X must be greater than or equal to, so it is a closed dot. And since it's greater, I shade it to the right. And that is it. Now let's try B. We have b divided by negative 3 plus 4 must be less than 13. The first thing I'm going to do is subtract 4 to both sides to start to isolate the variable. Now I bring down b divided by negative 3 must be less than 9. To isolate b, if it's being divided by negative 3, I have to do the inverse operation, which would be to multiply by negative 3. Now, anytime you divide or multiply by a negative, you must reverse the symbol. And there we go. 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. So on my graph, if I have, I'm going to say negative 27 is here. B must be greater, but not equal to it. So I'm going to use an open circle and shade it to the right on my number line. Okay, make sure you shade on the line, not above, not below. Okay. Now let's try Now let's try on your own. Numbers 1 through 3 on page 148. Solve the inequality and then on a number line, graph the solution. Okay, now example 2. Graphing an inequality on page 149. It says, which graph represents the solution of negative 7 times x plus 3 is less than or equal to 28. So in order to know which graph represents the solution, I need to solve this inequality first. So I'm going to have negative 7 times x plus 3 must be less than or equal to 28. The first thing I need to do is use distributive property and distribute the negative 7 times x, which is negative 7x. And negative 7 times positive 3 is negative 21. So it's negative 7x minus 21 must be less than or equal to 28. Now I can start to isolate the variable. My first step would be to try to get x alone. I'm going to add 21 to both sides. And now I have negative 7x is less than or equal to 49. Now to solve, I need to divide both sides by negative 7. And whenever I divide by a negative, I have to reverse the symbol. So x is greater than or equal to negative 7. Greater than or equal will mean a closed circle. All of them are closed. Now x has to be greater than, or equal to negative 7. So I can automatically eliminate D because that's positive, and I can eliminate C because that's positive. So now I'm between A and B. If x is greater, it must go to the right. So B is the best answer. B represents the graph, which is greater than or equal to negative 7. Now let's move on to example 3. This is our real-life application problem on page 149. A contestant in a weight loss competition wants to lose an average. Remember, average means you add up all the months and divide by the number you added. They want to lose an average of at least 8 pounds per month during a 5-month period. Now, at least means they want to lose 8 pounds at the very least, but they'll be happy if they lose more weight than that. But at the minimum, they need at least 8 pounds or more. How many pounds must the contestant lose in the 5th month to meet the goal? We need to write and solve an inequality. Let X be the number of pounds lost in the 5th month. So if you notice on the progress report chart, month here and pounds lost here. Month 1, they lost 12 pounds. In month 2, they lost 9. In the 3rd month, they lost 5 pounds. In the 4th month, they lost 8 pounds. And in the 5th month, we don't know, so that's why we call it X. But we know this needs to be at least 8 pounds per month, the average. Now, to find the average, you add up all the numbers and divide by the number you added. We added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers, so we're going to divide it by 5. And this amount must be greater than or equal to 8 pounds. So I use the greater than or equal to symbol to represent at least. Now let's combine 12 plus 9 is 21, plus 5 is 26, plus 8 is 34. So we have 34 plus X divided by 5 must be greater than or equal to 8 pounds on average. Now to solve, 34 plus X is being divided by 5. I want to undo that division, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 5 to start to isolate the variable. This cancels. So I have 34 plus X must be greater than or equal to 40. To solve for X, we need to subtract 34 to both sides. So X must be greater than or equal to 6. So in month 5, she needs to lose at least 6 pounds or more to meet the goal. Now I would like you to try on your own on page 149, numbers 4 through 7. On 4, 5, and 6, you need to solve by using distributive property and then solve for the variable. And then on number 7, it's asking, what if she wanted to lose an average of 9 pounds instead of 8 pounds per month? How would this goal change? So go ahead and solve that. Have a great day, and I'll see you in class tomorrow. Bye-bye.